What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here for another Introduction To, and we are doing Draitron this month. So with Draitron coming out next month, I kind of figured we'd do a couple of lists. Odds on, it wasn't as diverse as I thought it would be. It's just a lot of Draitron Invoked, Draitron Necroz, and like pure Draitron. So we're going with like 3 of those lists as bases that you can build off of, but as always, you can customize them to taste. The first one here is the Alistair, like the Invoked one, the Invoked Draitron list. This is probably my favorite version of Draitron that I've seen going around. Originally I thought like Necroz would be better because like it's ritual cards, but I kind of found that the Invoked one like looks a little bit nicer on paper. But let's get on into the first of the deck profiles. Actually, no wait. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people to the channel. And now let's get into the profile. So starting us off, we have 3 copies of Alistair. It doesn't conflict with the Draitrons because I thought you couldn't summon the rest of the turn except monsters that come in normal summoned or set. It's only special summon. So you do still get your primary normal summon, and when you have a free primary normal summon, Alistair is the best way to go. Then we've got 3 copies of Ash after that, just your primary hand trap. Then we've got 1 Diviner of the Herald, so this is the new card. When it's normal summon, you just Foolish Burial Goods a fairy from your extra deck. Like just normal Foolish Burial, not a goods. Yeah, you just Foolish that, trigger the search effect from your Herald of the Arclight, away you go. Then you've got 3 Elzada, 3 Ban Alpha, 3 Elgama, and 2 La Delta. Weirdly, there is also a Cyframe Gear Gamma in this list with no driver. I'm almost certain that this was just an error, and like it was supposed to be like one of these guys, but there's 3 Gammas in the list already, so like, if you can figure out why there's a Cyframe Gamma in this list, comment it down below, because I am super confused as to why. Then we've got, of course, the Cyber Angel package, so we've got a Ben 10 and Natasha to go with the Diviner of the Heralds, because it can Foolish those guys as well. Then we've got 1 Meteorus Dra and 1 Qua for your 2 like Draitron boss monsters. Solid monsters. You're not summoning them like super often, but they're there. Then we've got 3 Cyber Emergency, because it can search every single card in this deck. If you don't have your Cyber Emergencies, you want to play Draitrons, pick them up now. Then we've got 3 copies of Fafnir, your primary like field spell, of course. You got the Magical Meltdown to search your Alistair, but then you want to drop a Fafnir after, and then like resolve more searches. Then we've got 3 copies of Nova, just your primary special summon, trigger effect, away you go. And we've got 1 Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Invocation, and 2 Meltdown for that Alistair package. Then we've got the 1 Meteorus Draitron, just your like the ritual spell, basically. We've got Terraforming, because you kind of need to search one or the other, so you want to like max out on those possibilities. Then we've got 2 copies of Wear Off Thou, because it can search all of these guys. You will take the 2k damage, because you can't normal summon the monster that you are adding, so be prepared for that. But it is a level of consistency you can look at in your builds for Draitron. Then for the extra deck, of course, we've got an Invoke package, so we've got a Purg, a Macabre, and an Agoitis. Then we've got 1 Herald of the Arclight to be dumped off the Diviner, and then we've got 1 Martial Metal Marcher. Then we've got 1 AA Zeus, because you can summon that off the Assembled Nightingale, which is solid, because it can just poke directly, which is great. Then we've got 1 Appaloosa, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Hulk, 1 IP, 1 Unicorn, 1 Linkaribo, 1 Almirage, and 1 Secure Gardener. That could be why maybe the Gamma gets summoned off the Hulk, and then you sink into the Martial Metal Marcher, bring back the Gamma, and then keep your plays going. That could be something. That's got to be the reason why the 1 copy of Gamma is here, because it's a level 2 tuner that you can summon, and you can of course just like side more Cyframes if you want to play that going second. But that will round us off for the Invoked list, so let's get on into the next one. Okay, so next off we've got the Draitron Necroz build. So this one does heavily like focus on rituals, like as you can tell, because it is like a ritual deck. So yeah, you're just playing basically all of that kind of good stuff. The Heralds are just so easy to freely access in this deck. So, taking you through the list for this one, we've got 3 copies of that Diviner of the Herald, just to dump your Herald of the Arclight, get the search. Then we've got 3 copies of Elzada, 3 copies of Ban Alpha, 1 copy of Elgama, and 2 copies of La Delta. Then for your Cyber Angel package, you just got the Ben 10, just because you can resolve that Light Fairy search, gets you the Diviner, normal summon your Diviner, get another search off. Then we've got 3 copies of Brio, 3 copies of Clausulus, 3 Trish, and a Unicorn. These can turn into the True King of all Calamities in your Trish plays, which is always great. Then we've got 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. primarily going second, blank the board, then you can just like set up something like Unicorn, it skill drains everything anyway, so solid choice. Then we've got 2 copies of Fafnir. No terraforming to search the Fafnir in this deck, because you already have a lot of like general ritual consistency, so you're not super necessary on like having the Fafnir. Then you've got 3 copies of Draitron Nova, 1 Meteorus Draitron for your ritual summons, then you've got the 2 copies of Kaleidoscope, then you've got 1 Mirror, and 3 Prep round out the main deck, because it's a pure ritual list. Then we've got 1 copy of Entis in the extra deck, just like you dump from your Kaleidoscope, get the pop. Then you've got 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight. Again, you can dump it off the Kaleidoscope, or you can dump this one off the Diviner. Then you've got 1 Crocodragon. It helps you go into your Tricking of All Calamity plays, which is solid. Then we've got 1 Red Dragon Nova, and if we'd assume this is just like a big one to dump on your Kaleidoscope. Then we've got 1 Trish's Course as well, with the 1 Tricking of All Calamities. Then for your link plays, you've got an access code, a Cross Sheep, a Hulk, Phoenix, Unicorn, Linkross, Linkaribo, and the Anima. Curious enough, when you're playing a ritual deck and you can summon the Cross Sheep off your Drytrons, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. It's very good. Let's get on into the next one. Okay, and finally we've got our Pure Drytron list. So, I don't think that Pure Drytron is going to be the way to go in the future. It is just kind of like lacks that one big punch that can like end a game. But, of course, it is all here anyway. So, taking us through the list on this one, we've got 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Alzada, 3 copies of Ban Alpha, 3 Elgama, 2 Leader Delta, and 2 Raz Beta. This is probably the worst one. You like don't really want to play this if like you're playing this list, but it's there because it's like another Drytron name for the pure list. Then we've got 3 Meteorus Dra and 3 Meteorus Qua. Then 3 Cyber Emergency, of course, because it can search everything. Then we've got 3 Faf. We've got 3 Nova. Then 3 Forbidden Droplets, hand trap of choice here to go with the Joyous Springs, and of course the 3 Imperm. And then, because we're playing a pure list, we need the 3 Meteorus Drytron to resolve those ritual summons. Then for the extra deck, you're just going to be like link heavy, because you can just link climb to like everywhere with this list. So you've got 1 access code, 2 Cross Sheep and the Appaloosa, 2 IP, 1 Cerberus, Phoenix and Unicorn, 2 Linkaribo, 2 Relinquished Anima. You can like maybe even bump this up, because like they're all level 1s. And if your opponent's not paying attention to the zones, you can just start slurping things up like crazy, which is like really, really good. Then we've got 2 copies of Union Carrier, round out the extra deck. But that wraps up here for the introduction to Draitron. What are you looking forward to most about this list? Comment that down below. I'm really looking forward to, like, if it's not super short printed, playing it with Invoked, because I like the idea of it. The fact that like you just can use that normal summon, resolve your search, then like summon your rest of your plays, because like you get a primary normal summon. You're not special summoning from the main deck with Invoked anyway, but that's probably, in my opinion, the best way to go with this. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.